Well, it's men's breakfast this coming Saturday, 9 o'clock. If you can help with the washing up, let me know. Full English again, but this stunning chapter 17, Discipline of Witness. Kent Hughes says his greatest joy in pastoral ministry is not the big events, but his own personal witness. My glasses have just snapped, but I'll carry on. He did a little cameo of the disciple Andrew. He was the first one to come to follow Christ, but he was a quiet background man known as Peter's brother. He was never in the inner circle, never invited to those great events, Transfiguration, raising of Jairus' daughter, Gethsemane. There are no recorded sermons by Andrew, no miracles recorded that he did, no letters that he wrote, but he brought people to Jesus. Kent Hughes examines the heart of Andrew. And he says, well, he had a knowledgeable heart. That first encounter with Christ, pointed to Christ by John the Baptist, behold the Lamb of God. He spent the whole day with Jesus. He was enthralled with him. His knowledge was not only academic, but it was intimate. He was enthralled by Jesus. Are you and I enthralled by Jesus? And from that heart came the overflow. He had a magnetized heart, so drawn to Jesus was Andrew, that he was certain that if others could only encounter him, they'd be drawn too. Keep your heart magnetized with Christ. Read through the Gospels often. He had a selfless heart. He knew his brother's character, but he brought his brother. And once his brother came to faith, he was going to be the one. And Andrew would be overshadowed. It didn't matter to Andrew. He was happy to be known as Peter's brother. Andrew, who's he? Well, you know Peter. Of course I know Peter. Well, it's his brother. He was the wallflower. He was the background person. He's selfless. Andrew was optimistic. When there was no food and the 5,000, Philip, what are we going to do? Andrew, well, there's a bloke here, a young lad, 5 loaves and two fish. Now, are we optimistic as to what Jesus can do in the lives of others? He had an expansive heart. When the Greeks came saying, sirs, we would see Jesus, Philip went to Andrew. Andrew went to Jesus. Anybody can be saved. Do you despair about the salvation of some? Andrew certainly didn't. He was an ordinary witness, an ordinary man, an ordinary disciple. And that's what the church needs. People like you and me, ordinary people. Survey in America, 2 to 3% of church congregations were walk-ins, 5 to 6% influenced by some particular preacher, 2 to 3% came because they liked the church program. 1 to 2% responded to visitation. 4% from Sunday schools, but a whopping 75 to 90% came to church through the influence of friends or relatives. Well, that's you and me. Ordinary witness. And then Kent Hughes finishes with the value of relationships. Why are you and I where we are? Our friends, our families, our neighbours, our work colleagues, college students, those sporting interests that we have, we're there for a reason. God has put us there. And then we're challenged to invest in our relationships, not spending all our time in a holy huddle, but joining clubs and societies and praying for and thinking and investing in those relationships that are there around and about us. It's a cracking chapter. Come along. If you haven't read it, well, here's a summary, and we'll discuss our own personal evangelism. What a providence that this chapter comes at this time when I'm doing this series on personal evangelism on Sundays when I'm preaching, and we have the mission with Roger Carswell coming up soon. Well, be there. Cracking chapter.